Perfect. Cool. Super happy to announce that we have now the first speaker in a couple of seconds, I think. Maybe we'll use the chance to explain briefly to all the speakers the rule of the colors. When you see the green one, you have 10 minutes. When you see the yellow or orange one, you have 5 minutes. And when the light is on, then you have 1 minute. So please be mindful of the time so we can squeeze in all the talks. And if you still need like 1 or 2 minutes for the Q&A, of course, we will give you that. So let's start with the first speaker. We have with us on the stage Bogdan Tiron. He's coming from UK, and he's a renowned expert in the field of cybersecurity, who will be joining us for the first event of BSides and the first talk of BSides Dresden, and the name of his talk is Examining Access Controls Vulnerabilities in GraphQL. He is part of the company in which he's also co-founder with his father, Rod. He's also here with us. The company's name is GraphQL, and it's a specialized company in the UK which focuses on cybersecurity solutions, cybersecurity consulting, and other cybersecurity related topics. And in general, Bogdan will share a valuable slides about the importance of access controls in GraphQL and what is the impact when these are not properly implemented in the backend API. So the stage is yours. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. So access controls vulnerabilities in GraphQL, and we will see practical examples when this has been poorly or not implemented on a mobile app, and that is easy. All this has been remediated now, but we will see what can go wrong when these are not properly implemented. Shortly about me, my name is Bogdan Tiron, senior pen tester for Bridge, certified in policy requests, on pen testing, DevSecOps, and cloud. Work mostly for banks and also in the gambling industry for more than 10 years in pen testing. What is this talk about? One thing before going in depth. I'm curious, how many developers are in the room? Show of hands. Okay, quite a few. Pen testers or bounty hunters? Okay, quite a couple. DevSecOps or security engineers? Okay, not quite so many. And managing or CISO or managing security people? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's see about the importance. So hopefully I'll cover a little bit for everyone. Okay, the importance of access controls. So in OWASP content, they are on the first place for APIs. They are known as BOLA issues, and on web apps they are known as broken access controls, and in those categories are on the first place. About filtering, what's so special about this mobile app? Well, it's a dating app. It's just like Tinder or Bumble. What's different is that you can filter by age, distance, gender, more than 10 genders. You can filter by couples, if you're interested in couples, or by location. Premium users can also search by the type of thing that they're interested in, freeways, book scenarios, or other type of relationships that they're interested in. On average, they have more than 1 million Android downloads. So this is the interesting part about filtering. It's a dating app, and you will see soon what can go wrong. So this is the menu. We have Discover menu here to discover profiles. You have Popularity menu, Messages menu, and My Profile menu. And I am a woman, 32-year-old, bisexual. So this is what the app looks like, the 4 main menus. What were the vulnerabilities that we found? So we will have 8 examples on BOLA. As I said, access controls issues. So we will go through 8 examples and 1 example of broken object property level authorization. So let's take them one by one and see what can go wrong. First issue, disclosure of profile information to non-premium users. So to detail a bit the issue, we have basic users who will no longer need to pay for premium subscription to get the premium benefit. So as a basic user, in the likes menu, you see who liked your profile, but you only get limited information, such as the name and the blurred photos of the like sender. And as the premium user, you get all the information available. However, if you use a proxy tool like Verb, you can see all the information as a basic user, and you don't need to pay for the premium benefit anymore. So we would have an example here. This is what you see as a basic user, where you get the name and the blurred photos. However, if you use the Verb tool and you intercept this request, you will see all the information available. And here in the response, I'm not sure if it's visible. You will see, for example, for this user Sam, you will see the age that they liked our profile, where they are in London, and we will see their profile photos as well. So if we copy this URL and we paste it in a browser, we will see unauthenticated their profile photo. So we will no longer need to pay for the premium plan, and just the basic user will have that advantage as well. In addition, we will see the stream user ID parameter, which is here, the stream user of user Sam, and this will be useful for us in the next vulnerability when we try to read other people's messages. So, in order to read other people's messages, we need our victim stream user ID that we just saw earlier. We can go to Discover Profiles, we intercept the request, we find a stream user ID of our victim that we want to read the messages of that user. And if we go to Messages, we will see a request such as channels, like listed below. We delete everything from it and add the stream user ID, like you see in this example, and we will get all the messages of that user. I believe it was done. And in this case, if we search for text in the response, we will see there are 92 matches. So there are 92 messages belonging to that user. So now we are used to reading the messages of one particular user. That was one case of missing access controls. Let's go to vulnerability number 3. Unauthenticated access to other people's attachments, photos and videos from their chats. So we can see their chat, and there are in total 2 types of attachments, photos and videos, and photos can be replayable or time limited, and videos can be the same, replayable or time limited. And in the end, as an attacker, we managed to access all of these 4 types of attachments unauthenticated. So let's go one by one and see how we did that. Okay, let's upload a photo, a replayable photo. This is the first request. Generate upload credentials for uploading on api.ordinary.com. It sends the photo with the above generated public ID and signature values, plus API key and timestamp parameters in the request. Next request is done, upload that attachment, gets the public ID of the image, and then a unique attachment ID parameter will be returned above in the response. So we see the chat attachment ID belonging to this photo that is unique to this photo, and in order to retrieve the photo, we will have to make a request to this endpoint. In order to retrieve it authenticated, we'll have to make photo to CDN chat attachment /x the ID of the photo. So there are 2 ways to access this photo, /x ID of the photo, and instead of x initially it was the profile ID with value of the sender or the receiver of the photo. But because the backend was not checking If it was the sender or the receiver, just deleting it was fine, as long as you had one letter in the endpoint, it was fine. So in this case, we discovered that we had v1 in front of the endpoint. It was returning us the URL to the cloudinary.com where the photo was originally uploaded. And with this URL, we could get it unauthenticated. So initially, it was uploaded on chatstream.io.com, where we get it unauthenticated, but also was uploaded on filthy.com, where we could have got it authenticated. Okay, instance 2, uploading time-limited photos. So what's the difference between the previous case where it was replayable and now where it's time-limited? Well, we have an extra parameter, visibility 15 seconds or 15,000 milliseconds. And for accessing the photo, we use the profile ID grid value of the victim that uploaded the photo rather than text that we saw earlier. So we upload the photo to aplcoordinary.com, which you can see here. We get the public ID. We send the provider asset ID, and we are returned a chat attachment ID that is unique to this photo. And then we read again the message of the attacker, adding the stream user ID from the first issue. And this is how we see the response as an attacker, with the attachment and the image, the image attachment ID that we have to retrieve, and it's only 15 seconds available. So to retrieve the image, we again go to CDN chat attachment. In this case, the receiver's profile ID and the ID of the photo. And in the screenshot, we can see a photo in the entry lab and in the areas tab. And in order to retrieve it authenticated, we just add v1 in front, and we will get the URL from restcloudinary.com where it was initially uploaded. And if we access this URL, we will get it unauthenticated. And there is no time restriction. Okay, let's upload now videos. So we pick a chat, we select upload video option, record the video a couple of seconds, and submit it in the chat. The request below will be made, and the video will be uploaded to usstream.io.cdn.com. So you can see it here, and we are returned the URL. The URL from the response will be passed in the chat. We'll see that it is replayable, and this is how it looks in the chat. Again, we read the chat as the attacker, adding the stream user ID of the victim that we're trying to read the messages from. And this is how it looks like when we read the victim's chat. And we will see the URL of the video. And in this video, in this URL, we just have to replace /user ID with the ampersand sign. You see it here once and here once. And we will get the video authenticated. Okay, and to upload the video that display once only, what is the difference? There will be an extra parameter saying play once only. Yes, display mode view once. Again, we get the URL, and it's mentioned view once. We read again the messages from the victim. We see the URL, but it's encoded, so we'll have to replace the URL 26 with the ampersand sign. And once we do that, we will get the video unauthenticated, as in here. Okay, so the receiver of the video, play one's video, will have no knowledge of the attack. He can still see the video, but only once, and after he sees the video, it will say the video expired, just like here, before and after on iOS. Okay, so another example of what can go wrong when access controls are not existed or fully implemented. We can delete, recover, and edit other people's messages. So we discovered that we can recover other people's messages that were deleted in the chat. In addition, we can edit or delete them. And in order to do that, we will need a unique message ID that belongs to the message that we want to recover. So we can read people's messages, and we can get that message ID. We have this endpoint message / message ID, and the methods are delete and put that we're interested in. And let's find the request. So we enter the chat, we leave a message, got any plans for tomorrow. This is the message in this case. We have the message ID, and it is reflected in the response. So the message ID is 888. And if we try to delete that message IDs, we'll get this response. And now if we read that user's chat, we will see that message ID 888, and this message was deleted. So if we delete again that message ID, it will be reflected, and we will get it back in the original form. Instance 2, where we try to edit someone else's message. For example, we take them, my phone number is 123. We identify the message ID 782. We read the victim's message, and we see the message, my message is 123. We receive the notification on the phone, my number is 123. And as an attacker, if we manipulate that message ID 782 and we overwrite it, let's say my phone number is 456, we will get the response, okay, my number is 456. And if the victim checks the app, it will say, hey, my phone number is 456. So it works successfully. And the only difference is that it will show evidence. So that's the only thing that victim can see. 1 second. Yes, it will see that the message was sent by the attacker. And there will be an edited sign below the message. Yeah, there is no sign of the edit. In addition, every account is not unique. So even if it says the message came from the attacker can change its name. It's not unique. Okay. Another example of access control that can do damage to your app. Update someone else's profile information. You can update everything from someone else's profile information, including sex, name, sexuality, age, whatever is available. The operation name is profile update that we are interested in from /GraphQL endpoint. And if we send, for example, in this case, we are authenticated as user 991F in here in this header, but we are saying I want to modify the view to ABCDF, whatever we want, for this ID, which ends in 290C. And the second response, we will see, yes, for user 92C, we've updated the view to ABCDF. So in this case, there was no access control implemented. Let's go to another issue of access control. Get a like from any user profile. You could send likes from profile 2 to profile C to profile 3 while being logged in as profile 1. The operation is profile like. This is operation name in /GraphQL endpoint. So we are logged in as user 29C, and we are sending a light from 29C to 91F, so we light a person, and it will say, could send that word, which is normal valid behavior. However, if we want to reverse and say, hey, I'm logged in as 29C, and I want to someone 91F to like us, it will throw us an error. You cannot like a profile you know. So that's okay, that's a good validation. However, if I'm logged in as 29C and I say, hey, how about that user likes that user? That's acceptable. The response is allowed. Okay. So that was how we can manipulate the lines. Now let's get the profile. So we set the light from 63 to 91F. Let's see who this 63 user is. We query that profile 63, and we see it's called Annie. So let's see if we got a light from Annie. We check our list of lights in this menu, and given that we have a premium account, we can view this information in the app, and we see that we got a light from Annie, 26 years old woman. So that works. Let's see another example, send messages in other people's chat. So even if we are not part of that people's chat, we will send messages to that one. This is the endpoint channel messaging channel ID / message. The method is closed. And let's see how we can reproduce this issue. So we use the previous vulnerability with other people's messages to find a unique message channel ID. We read the victim's messages. We discover a channel ID that we want to send messages to, and it's 0PD. We add this channel ID to our request. 0PD is here, and we send a message hello from the attacker, and we see it is reflected in the response. And if we check the victim's phone, we receive a notification. The victim receives a notification. The victim cannot verify whether this message comes from the partner they match with or from a third party attacker, like in this case. Hello from the attacker comes from B. So the chat is capable between two users, D and Bogdan, and although the system shows the notification is coming from user D, like in here, which is the attacker's name, the attacker can change their name on their profile because the script is editable and not unique. So you can give yourself any name that you want. Okay, and another example, view other people's matches. So if you're interested in that, the operation name is chatlist query on /GraphQL. And how do we do that? We are logging as user 29C, and we check our matches. We saw there a match. We saw a match with user B. And then if we change to our test user 91F, we will see that their matches with all that. So that was another example of access controls where we can query other profiles we shouldn't be allowed to query. Remediation for developers. Implement authorization checks between users. This must be done on the back end and not front end. This is the line. As an extra note, these authorization checks do not give permissions to users to manipulate parameters that they shouldn't be allowed to. For example, we had like operation where one user likes another user. Do not create the parameters such as source profile ID, because we already know who's authenticated, so there's no need to say this user is authenticated, so don't give extra parameters to manipulate to the attackers when you already know who's authenticated. Implement user levels like resident user or premium user, and based on these user levels, implement access controls between this. and restrict the information returned to the user based on this user level. For DevSecOps, people integrate security tools in your CI/CD pipeline, but this is challenging or impossible because when you have GUIDs in your app, like we saw lots of GUIDs in this app, it's challenging for tools to discover e-doors, like this type of issues when you have GUIDs. So that will be problematic for DevSecOps people and DevSecOps tools. So you might need security or manual test. For CISO people, do data mapping, identify all the personal data that is collected, and then try to protect this data through encryption, access controls, and regular testing. And one example of case when this went wrong is in July 2024, when Uber was fined lots of millions for violating GDPR, where they transferred sensitive driver information from EU headquarters to the US headquarters. To mention, people have remediated all the issues. It took a bit longer than we expected, but everything was remediated. As an FYI, we have a giveaway of free web search by exam vouchers. Details on LinkedIn, on our page at Torbridge. We have more research for people interested in web app pen test research or API testing or phishing and contributions to open source tools in case you're interested. And now a bit of time for Q&A. I went a lot very fast through my slides because I'm a bit nervous, so sorry about that. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. Sure.
Yeah, how difficult was it to obtain all the GUIDs? Weil der auch
Yes, so if I understood correctly, how difficult it was to get all the GUIDs, right? It was a bit difficult because you had to reach all the functionalities, and you had to reach all the functionalities multiple times in order to get multiple GUIDs, in order to make sure you're testing the right GUID. But if you're using the GUID from, let's say, profile ID in place of the GUID for image ID, then it will definitely not work. So you have to be really careful with what functionality you're testing and using the right GUID. So I stand up saving all the data in some of my notes and keeping track of everything step by step.
Is there any question? I can get in the microphone.
Perfect. Do you think the usage of GraphQL, which is a complicated architecture or more complicated than like normal APIs, do you think that kind of confused the developers and made it more difficult for them to implement security?
Yes, I believe so. It's really popular, and you see everyone around you using the latest technology, the latest trend, the latest framework, and all the buzzwords. But if you do not know all the risks that come with that technology, for example, introspection, in case you have a sensitive GraphQL API, it might disclose sensitive information about your GraphQL API. So if you do not know all the particular features of your technology that you're using, it might put you more into risk than give you a benefit. So whatever technology you know, just go with that one, because that's what you know best, and work on that one. That's my personal advice.
Anyone else with questions from that side? Any shy hands? No? Cool. I just wanted to say